Hi guys, this is Lyra with Astrology by Lyra, here with a Virgo full moon update. And you'll notice I'm not on the screen. I'm trying to streamline things. And speaking of streamlining, which is quite lots of part of the energy of what this Virgo full moon is bringing in, I'm going to just provide these updates, the new moon and full moon updates, by giving a snippet of the weekly presentations that I give on the full access subscription um, that I have. And stick around after this presentation to find out more about the subscriptions and how you can go about joining them. But for now, I hope you enjoy. We have the Sun at 27 degrees of Pisces, still in very close proximity to Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, the planet that we've been talking about over this moon cycle, about it being able to take us to the lowest lows or the highest highs. It can get us into fear and escapism, or if we face these fears head on and we know that fear is just an illusion, and go within to connect, we can circumvent those fears. And so the Sun at 27 degrees of Pisces, one thing I want to say about the 27th degree of Pisces, the last 3 degrees of Pisces is kind of this very mystical signs and degrees. And so to have a full moon at this degree is very profound. Or have the Sun at the 27 degree of Pisces, while the Moon is at 27 degrees of Virgo. Very powerful, very, very powerful when it comes to these rather divine messages, divine connections, synchronistic situations come through. So that should kind of help us through and help us get out of that week of trying situations and uplift our spirits a bit. But let's take a look at the Sabian symbols of the Virgo full moon. So the Sun at 27 degrees of Pisces, the full satisfaction of the individual's basic needs. So this feeling, this sense that we know we are protected. There's something that is guiding us. There's something of a cosmic order that's protecting us on our journey, that's saying you are on the right path. And the Moon at 27 degrees of Virgo, the sheer power of personality in times that call for decisions. Now, it is interesting because the Moon at 27 degrees of Pisces, the Moon at 27 degrees of Virgo, is bringing down, this Pisces Virgo dynamic is very much as above, so below. And so with the Sun in Pisces, it's bringing in this knowing and this divine confirmation. And with the Moon in Virgo, which is an earth sign, it's grounding it down into earth. It's manifesting it here in the tangible 3D reality. Virgo helps us connect or anchor in divine insights. That's why it's so important to be grounded, because that's how, just like an antenna, you need to ground in the antenna to really bring in the signal. So that's, I guess you could say, a good analogy for this full moon. So this full moon in Virgo kind of reorganizing, reorienting, sorting fact from fiction, grounding things in, bringing clarity to all these situations taking place around us in our personal lives and in our collective lives. So let's look at this full moon and the aspects that it's making. We have the full moon making aspects to Venus and Mars, a sesquiquadrant to Venus and Mars, and as well a sesquiquadrant to Uranus. Now I just want to stop right there, because two sesquiquadrants made to any planet, and sesquiquadrants that are in a square, Venus and Mars are squaring Uranus, is actually a very fated uh, formation that is that is often talked about in astrology, called the Hammer of Thor, and it is this tense situation. It usually brings about situations where you're kind of put up against the wall, that the pressure is so much that there's no where else to go but break through. It's kind of like I'm done. Like I've had enough. I'm feeling the pressure, and something is just being squeezed out of me. And so it can be intense, but it's that intense that really brings um, diamonds out of coal. And so with this full moon making an aspect to Mars and Venus, the sesquiquadrant to Mars and Venus, which is they've been together in the sky since mid-February, and it's been projects that we've been working on since mid-February, and now are really wanting to innovate, and also making a sesquiquadrant to Uranus. It's like I want clarity, and I want clarity now. Like I am done with this confusion. I'm seeing all these things taking place, and all of a sudden, I got it. I know what I need to do. There's this pressure that helps us reinvent in a major way. And Venus and Mars making a square to Uranus really brings in a lot of opportunities to connect and exchange information. Lots of sudden developments in regards to projects that we've been working on, really insights. It's like this split minute decisions that are taking place, that with the aspects to the full moon bring this sense of clarity through. It's like I know what I need to do. So very beautiful energy to have, although tense, and we're feeling that as we build up to this full moon. And then we have the full moon making aspects to Pluto, which is a powerful aspect just in its own, if it was just there by itself. And it's just helping us transform in an easy way. It's like we're ready to make the change. There's a willingness to change. And so that kind of helps relieve some of the tensions that are coming through, or help support us through these tensions that are actually end up bringing these split minute decisions. Now we also have Venus and Mars making a supportive sextile to Chiron. And this is a sense of, I'm not wanting to repeat my past. I understand where I've tripped up before. And so that's also a supportive aspect in regards to the tensions that are taking place. It's like I'm ready to change. So this is a week of breakthroughs catalyzed by critical in the moment decisions being made amidst sudden and unexpected developments in both money and relationship dynamics, a call to change and elevate our consciousness in regards to values. And this energy, because it's taking place at the full moon, is with us all week, and it's really bringing out that sense of growth to the upgrades that this moon cycle was calling for, which again was this cosmic knowingness of our sense of purpose. The pressure's there, and I know what I need to do. I'm going to do it. It's just kind of pushing us off that cliff, I guess you could say. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with this Virgo full moon, even though it's not directly making aspects to Black Moon Lilith, but because Venus and Mars are making aspects to Black Moon Lilith, I definitely think that we need to talk about that. And that's Black Moon Lilith making a trine to Venus and Mars and sextiling Chiron. Again, supportive energy. It's like opportunities to clear the air of misjudgments in communication. It's like I know what I need to say. I know how to communicate this now. It's, again, very like clarity coming in a very powerful way. Beautiful energy. And the last thing, I promise. Eris making a quincunx to the south node, power release of previous connections with this clarity coming in. Very powerful. Eris is a very, very powerful planet. She is the divine feminine, a counterpart to Mars. Mars being the motivation and drives that guide us every day, but it's more of a masculine sense. Well, this is the divine feminine. She's ready to like release, what she thought she was going for before, and so that she can do so in a powerfully new way. So, and that this aspect is waning. It's been with us for the last couple of weeks. But this is just such beautiful energy to behold with this Virgo full moon. All right, so let's clear the board and let's talk about now Mercury. Mercury, the ruler of our minds, how we're thinking this week, how we're taking in information, how we're exchanging information, and it is making a semi-square to Pluto. It's just come off a sextile to Uranus, which means that, over the last day or the last day of this week number 2, building up to the full moon, there was a lot of sudden, unexpected developments, communication, exchanges, etc. And now with Mercury making a semi-square to Pluto, this is critical mental breakthroughs that bring in a renewed sense of reality. So, of course, that just all makes sense. There's this clarity that's coming in. We know what we want to do. We know what we have to do, this pressure that's come in. And then our minds are ready to change. It's almost like a snap shift in how we view reality. It's like wake up and smell the coffee, that type of thing. Really coming through in a very powerful way this week. And the last thing that I want to talk about is this Neptune that is sextile the north node. It's also making a trine to the south node. So it can be considered a choice point. But Neptune, of course, again, the ruler of the lowest lows, the highest highs. If we are on the spiritual path, if we are doing the work, if we're, once we're on the path, we know that it's really difficult. I think it's almost impossible to go back. So for those that are heeding the call and stepping into more integrity with themselves, stepping into more compassion, doing the shadow work, really going within to connect even deeper, this is a magical alignment that's taking place, that's building up to an exact alignment on March 29th, just in time for the breakthroughs coming in. And this is just this very beautiful guiding system, calling us to a new way forward, a knowing that's being solidified, this Neptune sextile the north node. Now, at the same time, it's making a trine to the south node. So for those that are not heeding the call, again, this kind of speaks of a bifurcation taking place, even more divides taking place, where separating the wheat from the chaff. I got that right. I normally don't use that analogy. That just came through. So basically, we're going to see more divide taking place from those that are in the awakening, those that are not. And you'll see it just as much as you'll see for those that are awakening and they're seeing this divine new way forward, again, all built on North Node and Taurus elements of knowing your sense of self-worth, solidifying a stronger sense of self-worth, staying in integrity, staying in values, becoming more self-reliant is Taurus, using the resources that you have to their fullest. There's this just call towards that. Then you have Neptune trining the south node in Scorpio, and so when we're looking at the south node and the unconscious, we're looking at the unconscious expressions of things. We're looking at with the south node in Scorpio, manipulation, coercion, ego-driven behaviors, force-driven behaviors that are being propelled by Neptune the unconscious expression of Neptune, of fears, of escapism, um, not stepping into the higher vibrations of Scorpio, which is knowing your power, and knowing the power within. And through that knowing of power within, if you fortified the South Node, if you've mastered the South Node of Scorpio, you know that you magnetize situations to you. You don't force them, and you do that by facing your fears. And when you do, Neptune all of a sudden lights up, and you get this intuitive guiding system that helps you master the earth plane, which is a lot about Taurus. Taurus is a grounding sign. It is often associated with Gaia, with earth, and it helps you maneuver through this earth plane. And so you get navigated to the right situations that match your vibrations of self-worth, of knowing, and also you start to become in this knowing of, hey, because I have this, I can self-rely. I don't really need anything because I can know anybody else. I have this beautiful navigational system that's aligning me to the right people, the right situations, and it's helping me become more self-reliant with this navigational system. So again, a week of breakthroughs, and in a nutshell, this is a week of divine breakthroughs, gradually calling us into a cosmically ordained sense of purpose. Because again, the more that we're stepping into that, hey, I'm really seeing my connectedness, then we each are then vehicles of communication to connect others with this understanding, and this being a big part of our sense of purpose. All right, so that's the snippet this week. I intend to make it more YouTube friendly in the future, but that's what I have for you. And if you are interested in getting more, I do have 2 subscriptions. I have a Just the Basics, which is $5 a month, and with that you get daily Telegram updates, a month ahead report where I do a recording in regards to everything coming over the next month, and a weekly breakdown, as well as a PDF of a list of all the transits and a brief overview of each week, and also moon transit notifications. And then I do have the full access subscription that's $25 a month. It's $20 if you join on a quarterly basis, and you basically get everything on the Just the Basics plan, plus 4 weekly videos, a deep dive of the weekly and daily transits, applying it to your personal journey. So it's a kind of more specific to the spiritual awakening journey, where I also offer up tarot and my own reflections from my journey. And then the third video I offer each week is a mini astrology course, and really focusing on the archetypes. For example, this month I've been talking about Neptune on the full access group, and I also like to couple that with some quizzes in the Telegram channel as well. So if you're interested in learning astrology, there's that element to the full access group. And last but not least, I do a 4th video, which is in the news and applying what's happening in global events, and applying that to the astrology, and applying that to the understanding that as within, so without, that we are all reflections of everything taking place in this universe. And you can subscribe to either one of those by visiting my website at www.astrologybylyra.com. And if you're interested in a personal consult, you can do that from there as well. All right. I hope you have a beautiful, happy, clarifying Virgo full moon. Bye for now.